Hola! The SR Workshop is an amazing place. Kinda like Walmart. There is an insane amount of mods in there, each one with different purposes. If you want stuff that looks like DLC content, you can go for the big boys like Finfolio or Revelations. If you want more content in general, you can go for mods that add new items or characters. If you want new bosses, there's a lot of them. If you want more sprites, there's a lot of them. If you want to ruin your game, there's a lot of them. But besides all the types of mods mentioned, there is one that I didn't really cover before. The quality of life mods. For those that don't know, a quality of life mod, or also known as QOL, is a mod that is meant to improve the gameplay experience without making it feel too different from what the original creator intended. If a mod makes you feel overpowered or makes the game easier difficulty-wise, like for example just removing enemies, I don't think that's a quality of life mod. In this video I will show a few mods that, for what I understand, fit in this category. I wouldn't call this video a proper showcase, because doing an in-depth showcase of each one will make the video way longer, so instead I will just show them quickly and try to cover the basic functions. So let's just start. Let's start with the most popular one, External Item Description, or more commonly known as EID. We all know how helpful the description of the items are in-game. Some of them go straight to the point, and others, well, good luck guessing. This mod solves the problem by showing a description of the closest item to the player. In that you can see exactly what the item does, and other details like if the item helps on transformation, the quality of the item, or how it doesn't interact with your current character. But besides the items, this mod gives you a description of anything close to you, from consumables to the specs on the sacrifice room. It's very versatile. One of my favorite things is that it tells you what you can make with the pickups on the floor if you have the bow of crafting, making the in-depth game somewhat more enjoyable. At least for me. This mod is so common that almost every other mod that adds new items works with it. Since it's used everywhere, it allows the developers to just add a small but helpful description of what an item does. But that is not the only description mod. Probably equally as known is the Encyclopedia, or also known as Dead Sea Scrolls. This mod adds a new boss menu has all the description of every item, character and consumable of the game. If you check one of the descriptions of the items, it will tell you what it does, on which floor you can find it, how it does interact with other items, and even it has some trivia. Sure, this mod is more advanced in terms of information than the external item description, but it's not like I'm comparing them. You can choose which one you like or just choose both. A little bit similar to these mods, there is one that is way less known, which is the achievement description. This mod adds more detail to the unlock messages, basically telling you a little bit more information about the thing you just got. For example, if you unlock an item, it will tell you the quality and the pulse where you can find it. Yeah, this one is not as useful as the previous ones, but I think that this one fits the theme of the game the most. As you know, Isaac is a game that has several stats, but something hidden in games is that they have multiplayers that can be changed by some items. For example, Sacred Heart, one of the best items in the game, actually you keep you 1 damage. But what makes it good is that now all your damage is multiplied by 2.3, and the game never showed these numbers on screen. However, if you use the Stat Plus mode, all the multipliers of any stat are going to appear on screen, saying specifically how much are they affecting the values. But talking about stats, you probably saw this one right here. No, it's not from the original game. This stat just tells you how much chances you have of spawning a Planetarium. Useful stuff. Now, this Planetarium chance can be obtained with 2 mods. One that is literally called, well, Planetarium chance, and not only that, and the other one is Repentogon, a script standard that for what I understand improves the performance and capabilities of mods. Was this just a way of recommending Repentogon in the middle of the video? Kinda. Some mods require it, so I think everyone should have it at this point. No idea if it counts as a quality of life, but install it, like, now. When you go to a different floor, you probably skip the animation between floors. Everyone does that and it doesn't have any consequences. Except if you have the Dreamcatcher. In that case, if you skip the cutscene you will need some information that can be helpful. Luckily, with the Hanging Dreamcatcher mod, you will see the Dreamcatcher itself above the trapdoor. That is there to remind you that the item exists and it does more than just giving you a half soul heart. Oh, you didn't know it does that? Well, that's funny. You know what is not funny? The curses. They are horrible. Mostly because they appear without warning. But if you're using the mode Accursed, you will see exactly which curse you're gonna get in the next floor. So you can prepare yourself and don't be as mad because you got the Curse of the Unknown after fighting blood in the previous floor. The mod also tells you if the alternative path has a curse too, so you can choose which one is more convenient for you. You know what is not convenient? Laser enemies. They always shoot when you're dealing with something else in the other side of the room. But this can be balanced by using the Watch Out Laser mode. With this mod, a red line will appear right before the enemy shot any type of laser, which gives you more time to react. I see this mod being useful on big rooms where the enemies can be far away from the screen, and yet they can hit you. And I also find it useful on the bar rush, because Monster 2 and Blood feel like shooting right when they appear. That is their natural and unfair boss behavior, but now you have a chance of dodging at least. Talking about boss behavior, it's very annoying when they jump and stomp you. And for that reason the coming down mod exists. This mod shows when an attack from the sky is going to land, so you don't die from something that you didn't saw coming. I see this mod useful for those rooms with like 5 monk hands falling endlessly, but it's really useful in any situation. Now, what actually does feel endless is waiting a host to attack. This is mostly true in late game where you have the power to one-shot bosses, but the hosts are just like... Nah, for cases like this, you can use the mod Penetration up. I don't like that name either. Anyway, what this mod does is making you able to do damage to hosts and similar enemies when they are not attacking. For how I understand how the mod works, the enemies only take a percentage of your damage when they are blocking, which balances the mod and makes waiting for the host to attack a better option in early game and just killing them when you see them in late game. And talking about killing bosses, which I actually just mentioned once, there is also the enhanced boss bars. This mod adds an extra sprite to the health bar of the bosses, indicating who the boss is and sometimes painting the bar to make it more fitting. Most people might call this one just a race sprite mod, and they are technically right. However, I consider it a quality of life mod for 2 reasons. First, it shows you the health bar of each boss currently in the room, instead of combining them in just one health bar, which is really handy in boss rush or grid mode. And second, it shows you the health bar of final bosses like Mega Satan, Mother and Beast. To be honest, after defeating those bosses a couple of times, their fight just begot me wondering how much health they have left, and this mod fixed that. Is this reasoning enough to consider it a quality of life mod? At least in my eyes, yes. But besides those okay? But besides those fights, there is also another thing that you want to end ASAP. The boss rush. And to help you with that, there is one simple mod, the boss rush counter. As the name implies, this mod will show how many waves of the boss rush are left. I'm sure that most of you never realized that the boss rush has 15 waves. Exploration is a key element on Isaac, but doing backtracking to previous rooms will always be a task that takes some time. Except if you have the GoodTrip mod. In that case, you can teleport to every single room that you were before with just one click. To make this mod work, you have to hold tab and use your mouse to select a specific room in this minimap that the mod provides. It's important to mention that the teleport doesn't work if you try to use it in a room with enemies. It's not that broken, come on. I was about to not add this mod to the video because I felt like it was cheating, but then I remembered that the last stages exist. Picture this: Magiron, Thunder Thighs, Void Floor. If you make a race with a snail to the boss room, it will not only reach the delirium door before you, but by the time you do it, it will be dead of natural causes. Only for that reason this mod gets a pass. I think that backtracking on late floors is really helpful and safe sometimes, but opinions are appreciated. And besides that, you can also combine this mod with the MinimAPI. Probably not pronounced like that, but I like that name. The MinimAPI is a mod that basically improves the map, adding way more accurate icons to what is on the room. For example, usually if there is a soul in the floor, the normal map will display it as a normal, average rune, but by using the MinimAPI, it will show you exactly which soul is in that room. And it works like that with everything: chests, machines, pickups, heck, even the color of the peel that you left behind has the same colors with this mod, which I consider very impressive. I've been thinking about making this video for a while, and I know that it's slightly different from my usual content, but hey, it's good making something new once in a while, right? Anyway, those were the mods that I found. All of them are in the description if you are interested in trying them. If there is a quality of life mod that you use and it wasn't mentioned on the video, you can leave it in the comments. If I receive enough feedback and suggestions, I might do a second part. Who knows? But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye and have a great day.